Section 1. The foundation of respect. Healthy boundaries are essential for strong, fulfilling relationships. They define where we end and others begin, providing a framework for how we want to be treated. Imagine a garden filled with blooming flowers, each needing its own space to grow. Similarly, boundaries ensure that each person has the space they need to flourish. Without clear boundaries, we risk feeling overwhelmed, taken advantage of, or disrespected. This can lead to anger, resentment, and burnout, eroding even the strongest relationships. Establishing healthy boundaries is an act of self-care and a way of honoring our needs. When we communicate our boundaries, we create a safe space for respect and understanding. This clarity allows for more authentic connections and deeper relationships. By setting boundaries, we say, "I value myself and our relationship enough to protect both." Boundaries prevent resentment and misunderstandings, allowing us to show up as our authentic selves. Section 2. Untangling needs and expectations. Boundaries are not about building walls, but creating healthy fences that protect our emotional well-being. They allow us to communicate our needs and limits clearly and respectfully. Setting boundaries means recognizing it's okay to say no to things that drain us. It's about prioritizing our own needs and not feeling obligated to please others. Boundaries are about taking responsibility for ourselves, not controlling others. Ultimately, setting healthy boundaries is an act of self-respect and ensures mutual understanding. Section 1. Boundaries, not walls, but fences. Boundaries are often confused with walls, but they are more like fences. Imagine a white picket fence. It defines property lines without obstructing the view. Boundaries provide a framework for healthy interaction, defining acceptable and unacceptable behavior. This clarity protects our emotional well-being and fosters mutual respect. Just like a fence allows sunlight to nourish the grass, boundaries cultivate healthy connections. Walls hinder communication, leading to misunderstandings and resentment. Choosing fences over walls requires courage and vulnerability. By setting healthy boundaries, we invite authentic connection and protect our emotional well-being. We create a space where both we and our relationships can truly flourish. Boundaries invite open communication and mutual understanding. Section 2. Myths versus reality, debunking common misconceptions. Many believe that setting boundaries is selfish or rude, but this is a myth. Healthy boundaries actually strengthen relationships by fostering trust and mutual understanding. Boundaries are about taking responsibility for ourselves, not controlling others. They allow us to protect our well-being by setting clear limits on acceptable behavior. Setting boundaries doesn't require being confrontational or aggressive. It's about asserting our needs with clarity, calmness, and respect. Healthy boundaries are communicated with respect, not blame. They ensure our relationships are built on mutual understanding and respect. Section 3. Realistic expectations. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Setting boundaries is an ongoing process, requiring patience and self-awareness. Not everyone will immediately accept or respect our boundaries. Consistency is key to maintaining boundaries and building trust. Each time we hold firm, we reinforce their importance. Setting boundaries is about finding a balance that works for us and our relationships. Be flexible and willing to adjust boundaries as needed, while staying true to core values. Section 1. The art of saying no. Learning to say no is fundamental to setting healthy boundaries. Saying no doesn't have to be harsh. It can be done with grace and kindness. A simple, "Thank you for the offer, but I'm not able to do that right now," can suffice. Consistently saying yes to unwanted things leads to resentment and conflict. Saying no with grace creates space for what truly matters. The more we practice, the easier it becomes. It shows others we respect ourselves and expect the same in return. Section 2. Communication is key. Speaking your truth. Open and honest communication is crucial for healthy boundaries. Use I statements to take ownership of feelings and needs. For example, I feel disrespected when I'm interrupted. Could you please let me finish my thought? Assertiveness means speaking with confidence and clarity while respecting others' feelings. Communication is a two-way street. Listen to and respect others' boundaries. Open communication fosters mutual understanding and deeper connection. Expressing our needs clearly helps maintain healthy relationships. Section 3. Identifying your limits, listening to your inner voice. Understanding our values, needs, and limits is key to setting boundaries. Pay attention to physical and emotional responses to identify limits. Journaling can help reflect on experiences and recognize patterns. Identifying limits is an ongoing process. Stay connected to your inner voice. Adjust boundaries as needed to ensure self-care and authenticity. Setting boundaries is an act of self-care, ensuring we show up as our best selves. Section 1. The long game: maintaining boundaries over time. Setting boundaries is just the first step. Maintaining them requires ongoing effort. Consistency is key to reinforcing boundaries and building trust. Engage in open communication about what works and what doesn't. Maintaining boundaries is a lifelong practice, showing up with integrity and respect. Stay committed to boundaries for deeper connection and fulfilling relationships. Boundaries require both parties to respect and honor each other's limits. Section 2. Navigating resistance, responding to pushback with grace. Resistance to boundaries is inevitable. Respond with grace and empathy. Resistance often stems from discomfort with change. Approach with compassion and understanding to ease anxieties. Validate their feelings while reaffirming your boundaries. Set consequences for boundary violations to communicate repercussions. For example, if you continue to interrupt me, I'll end this conversation. Stay steadfast in your resolve while responding with grace. Section 3. The evolution of boundaries: when and how to adjust. Boundaries evolve as we grow and navigate different life seasons. Life transitions may necessitate re-evaluating boundaries. Regular self-reflection helps determine when adjustments are needed. Communicate boundary changes clearly and respectfully. Adjusting boundaries is a sign of growth and self-awareness. Ensure boundaries continue to serve and protect your well-being. The price of disregard: when boundaries are ignored. Ignoring boundaries, whether our own or those of others, comes at a cost. Like cracks in a foundation, disregarded boundaries can lead to instability, resentment, and ultimately, the breakdown of relationships. When we fail to set or uphold healthy limits, we create an environment ripe for misunderstandings, hurt feelings, and conflict. One of the most common consequences of ignoring boundaries is resentment. When we consistently prioritize the needs of others over our own, we can start to feel taken advantage of and unappreciated. This resentment can build over time, poisoning our interactions and creating distance between ourselves and those we care about. Another significant price we pay is a diminished sense of self-worth. When we don't value our own needs and limits, we send the message that we are not worthy of respect. This can lead to a pattern of attracting people who take advantage of our generosity and disregard our feelings. Ignoring the boundaries of others is equally detrimental to relationships. It communicates a lack of respect for their autonomy and individuality. When we disregard someone's limits, we are essentially saying that their needs and feelings are not as important as our own, eroding trust and damaging the foundation of the relationship. Real-life repercussions: the domino effect of boundary violations. The consequences of ignoring boundaries can manifest in various aspects of our lives, creating a ripple effect that extends beyond the initial relationship. From our emotional and mental well-being to our professional and personal interactions, the impact can be far-reaching and profound. In romantic relationships, a lack of boundaries can lead to codependency, control issues, and resentment. Partners might struggle with feelings of suffocation, feeling unable to express their needs or pursue their own interests. This can create a toxic cycle of dependence and resentment, ultimately leading to the demise of the relationship. In families, ignoring boundaries can result in strained relationships, conflicts, and a lack of individual growth. Without clear limits, family members might overstep each other's boundaries, leading to feelings of being unheard, disrespected, or controlled. This can create lasting rifts and prevent family members from developing healthy, autonomous identities. In the workplace, a lack of boundaries can lead to burnout, stress, and decreased productivity. When we don't set limits on our time and availability, we risk becoming overwhelmed and resentful. This can impact the quality of our work and our relationships with colleagues, creating a negative and unproductive work environment. The empowering nature of boundaries. As we've explored throughout this journey into the world of boundaries, one resounding truth emerges. Setting and maintaining healthy boundaries is not about building walls to shut others out, but rather about creating a sacred space within ourselves and our relationships. Boundaries are the pillars upon which we build respect, self-love, and authentic connection. When we embrace the power of boundaries, we step into a new realm of self-awareness. We begin to understand our needs, our limits, and the values that guide our interactions with the world. This clarity empowers us to communicate our needs effectively, to say no without guilt, and to protect our emotional well-being. The beauty of boundaries lies in their transformative power. As we learn to set and maintain healthy limits, we not only create healthier relationships with others, but we also cultivate a deeper, more loving relationship with ourselves. We begin to prioritize our own well-being, to honor our needs, and to show up in the world as our most authentic selves. Embracing boundaries is not a selfish act. It is an act of self-preservation and an investment in the health and vitality of our relationships. When we set clear limits, we create a space for mutual respect, understanding, and genuine connection to flourish. Cultivating healthy relationships. A journey, not a destination. The journey of setting and maintaining healthy boundaries is an ongoing process, not a destination. It requires patience, self-compassion, and a willingness to navigate the inevitable challenges that arise along the way. There will be times when our boundaries are tested, when we encounter resistance, and when we need to reevaluate and adjust our limits. Remember that setting boundaries is not about being perfect or getting it right all the time. It's about showing up for ourselves and our relationships with integrity, honesty, and a commitment to open communication. It's about learning from our experiences, both the successes and the setbacks, and using those experiences to refine our approach to boundaries. As you continue on your journey, here are a few guiding principles to keep in mind. Start with self-reflection. Take the time to understand your own needs, values, and limits. What are your non-negotiables? What makes you feel safe and respected in relationships? Communicate clearly and respectfully. Express your boundaries with clarity and kindness, using I statements to take ownership of your needs. Be assertive without being aggressive. Be consistent. The key to maintaining boundaries is consistency. Each time you honor your limits, you strengthen their foundation. Give yourself grace. Setting boundaries is a process, and it takes time to master. Be patient with yourself, allow for mistakes, and celebrate your progress along the way. Remember, cultivating healthy relationships is a journey, not a destination. By embracing the power of boundaries, you embark on a path of self-discovery, growth, and deeper connection.